Hey guys, my name is Matt Hill, and I am impossible. I was a normal kid, living day-to-day life, going through high school, never particularly athletic, and right at the end of my senior year, I start having issues with my right ankle, and a doctor looks me in the eye and he says, "You have cancer." And that forever changed my life. I was telling him I've been squatting, and I've been really enjoying squatting and deadlifting.
Oh, nice.
Like figuring it out, doing it just on the prosthetic leg alone. And I was doing some seated deadlifts and stuff.
You must have a bunch of different legs, right?
Yeah, well, I've only got
attachments.
two right now. I've got my blade leg, and I've got this just like standard leg, which it's pretty nifty setup.
What's the blade feel like in comparison to your regular foot and ankle complex?
So for my blade, it's more of a distance blade. So a lot of people think of like Oscar Pistorius, the Blade Runner guy from the Olympics, and his were very much designed for explosive speed and power. And there were a lot of people that questioned, like, does it give him an advantage, you know? Right. I can't prove that either way, but my experience, I would give a resounding no. Nothing compares to the human foot and leg. But mine's actually mostly designed because it's a distance leg. His were designed for sprinting. Mine was designed more to like absorb impact. Yeah. You don't realize how much impact each joint absorbs till you're missing one. And so it keeps all that from transitioning up to my stump and my residual limb quite as much. I've got some pictures I can send you from my first half marathon where my leg is just like hamburger. Oh. Like I had blood coming up out of the liner and stuff. So it's to help mitigate that.
Does that leg still give you a lot of trouble? Does it still like hurt and stuff? Do you have any phantom pain?
So I've been very fortunate that I don't have a lot of issues with that.
Oh, that's great.
And honestly, like the number one thing I attribute that to is my running and my lifting, and like just staying active on it, keeping constant pressure on that. The reason phantom limb pain occurs is because when you get your leg cut off, it cuts off that signal. I describe it as feeling almost like, because I always have the awareness, like I'm wiggling my toes right now, even though you can't see it. I describe it as like the TV fuzz, like when you see the black and white fuzz on an old school TV. It's sort of like that. It's just like the signal gets cut. But your brain's like, hey, why can't I feel that? So the signal we respond best to is pain. So it shoots pain signals down because it wants you to respond, figure out what's going on, except it's just not there anymore. Yeah. But I think, you stay active, you move around enough, it puts enough pressure on the end of all those nerve endings, and it just helps your brain to kind of understand, oh, hey, that's not part of me anymore. Right. We can adjust to this, it's okay. So that's my theory. I don't necessarily have any studies to back that up, but that's.
Let's move over here and let's kick off some shoulders.
Absolutely.
Where do you live at?
I live in Southeast Ohio, so about an hour and a half southeast of Columbus, where the Arnold is. So it's kind of cool. We're able to just drive up to the Arnold, and 2 years ago, 2021 was my first time going. I got to meet Chris there. It was just such an awesome experience to meet him, and it's a huge honor to be out here, get to meet you and train out here.
Yeah, you must have missed you didn't end up running into him yesterday, huh, my brother?
I actually did see him. I was recording a video, and I think I heard him on a call. So I waved at him, and I don't know if he remembered me or not, but I did wave at him, and he waved back, so that was cool. But I did see him when we were out. I think he was getting to walk in himself.
Let's start off with just a lateral raise. Go ahead and grab that one. Just a single arm.
Yeah. Now, do you like to grab on the handle?
Yeah, whatever's comfortable. Yeah. Whatever works best for you. Yep. Good. And the only slight difference is just bring it up a little higher. There you go. Yeah, I always like with a lateral raise is to try to bring it up to like almost to the top of your head or like over your head. I think there's like more tension right there, but I don't know. Everyone's got different theories. Being in Ohio. Do you have like yourself or family members suffer from like seasonal depression? From, not getting enough sun and
it's a big thing.
Just weather being shitty.
Yeah, it is a big thing, and that's what I was saying. When I started this marathon training in October, the end of October in 2022, and so
a little higher. Remember, keep it up high.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Yeah, and
there you go. Good.
Yeah. So we started running. Me and one of my best friends, he's dealt with really bad anxiety and depression his whole life.
Damn.
And, you know, it's kind of his story to tell, but he was in a really bad situation last October. But he kind of out of nowhere decided he wanted to run the marathon with me.
I'll switch in.
Awesome. And at first, I didn't even, I feel bad, but like at first I wasn't sure if he was serious about it, you know. But I was happy to have him along.
Because he might be inconsistent.
Yeah,
he gets
exactly.
so upset.
Exactly. We'd had some, you know, troubles with that in the past. But, you know, I said, hey, man, like, because I know where I'd been and I know what training did for me. I said, absolutely, come out, let's do it, you know. And not that it was perfect right off the bat, but he was with me there almost every training run. After October, it quickly, it quickly gets very dark very quickly. You know, out there in the winter, it gets dark at 5 o'clock at night. And so we'd show up to that track every single day and just put in those slow miles, pitch black, cold of winter. We're the only ones out there. And I think that was the big catalyst that helped him turn his life around. And he's now out running over half marathon distance.
Oh, shit.
I can't wait to get back with him. And it's been cool because we've both come at this marathon with such a massive, like, challenge.
Right.
Mine has always been physical. I've got my mindset in a good spot now, but now my biggest challenge is physical with the broken foot, amputated leg, my core, and his has always been mental. So it's been cool for us to work together.
Kind of meet in the middle.
Yeah, help each other overcome our challenges, and
that must be really helpful. You can
it's awesome.
Kind of talk each other.
Yeah. It's
like on a particular day where maybe you're in pain or something, you're like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
You could say, hey, well, let's at least go for a walk.
Yeah.
And then maybe the walk turns into a...
Absolutely.
And same thing when he's super bummed. Hey, man, let's at least meet up.
Absolutely.
And let's have a cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
You know, because at least you got out of the house and all that, and maybe you, in that process, again, maybe you hit up a walk, and maybe that walk turns into a run.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's all about. You know, what can you do today?
It's interesting how things can be such an advantage, you know. I visited Iceland recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
The people are just different there.
Yeah.
They're, you're just not going to hear them complain a lot, you know. They're a different culture altogether.
Yeah.
But it gets really cold there, and it gets really windy and stuff.
Yeah.
And they just have different things to deal with. And so you can have those bad weather situations make kind of like quote unquote make you a certain way, or it can turn you into something that's way stronger than anybody's ever anticipated before. Because when you wake up in the morning and you're getting ready for work and you see that it's pouring outside and it's cold and windy, I mean, think about like a little kid. Like a little kid would be pumped.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my God, there's puddles
excited to go out.
I get to go and jump in those puddles.
Yeah.
You know? Somebody else's interpretation of it might be like, oh man, I'm just gonna go back to bed, or I just want to be, you know, in my warm covers. But you know, someone that wants to run, or somebody that, you know, wants to still enjoy the day, they're just like, I'll put on a raincoat.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get an umbrella.
Yep.
You know, maybe I'll see if my dog wants to run with me in the rain or something. You know, like do something just totally different.
Yeah. And that's what I've been saying this whole marathon journey is what can you do? Because I've had lots of challenges come up. You know, I still have residual health issues from cancer treatment. And there's just always, you know, there's always something to fight against. But like you say, can you show up and go on a walk this day? Could that walk lead to, even if it's a quarter-mile run, you know, you're still out there doing something. And that's what I talk about, be impossible. Do something you have not only no business doing, but something you don't even necessarily believe you can do yourself. I didn't think I could run a marathon until I was 5 months into training. But I'd been here before, I'd done this before, and so I knew that if I show up and put the consistent work in on a daily basis, do what I know I need to be doing, eventually I'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta do the other side still, or did you you did both?
I did both sides, yeah.
Yep. One more like this, and then we'll try to go a little heavier. Yeah, you kind of said something there's kind of always something to fight against, and I think that even that quote right there is pretty cool. And I think that it's important for us to find stuff to sort of fight.
Absolutely.
Almost like every day go out and pick a fight a little bit.
Yeah.
Not really in an angry way, but have like a mission.
Yeah.
And something that you really want to like fight for or accomplish.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's really
Yeah.
an important factor, regardless of any life situations, whether you feel like you got it really good at the moment or you feel like you got it really bad.
Yeah.
I think there's always a reason to fight.
Absolutely. And that's what got just totally instilled into me throughout battling cancer. I was a very different person before I battled cancer. And through a lot of the hardships I faced with that, I kind of learned to thrive under intense struggle and intense pressure. And that was one of the reasons I fell into alcohol afterwards. It's like all of a sudden that pressure, that fight, that struggle is removed. And
yeah, alcohol is it's like a wonder drug in a way, because it really pauses your life.
Yeah.
It's like whatever problems you got, you got them right now.
Done. Yeah.
You feel great.
Yeah.
And you're having fun.
Yeah. Well,
super entertaining.
Yeah. And it gave me something to fight against in a weird way. I became the guy that could go longer, harder, drink more than everybody else. You know, I'd show up to a party with a whole half-gallon bottle of liquor, and I'd try to drink the whole thing in one night. You know, it's like.
And once you become that guy, then you think you're held to that standard.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing happens sometimes with eating. Oh, here's the big guy. He's going to eat the whole pizza or whatever.
Yeah. And that's.
Fall in that trap too.
Yeah, that's that's another big thing I battled my whole life, and that's from when I was a little kid. So I was always battling with food addiction. I was always the fat kid by far. I was never athletic, never muscular or anything, and I just kind of learned to rely on food to help heal my emotions. And that's where, hearing guys like Russell on your podcast, he is so inspiring to me. I think we might actually meet up tomorrow.
Yeah, he should be in here. He might be in here in a little bit.
Okay, sweet. But he's just such an incredible dude. And I heard him talk on your podcast about how when he gets hungry, it's like something in the back of his mind. And I was like, that's exactly what
he really gave us a lot of perspective on that.
Yeah.
He gave us a lot of perspective on that.
Yeah.
It'd be easy to get super angry at somebody that cuts you off on the freeway. Yeah. But there's certain people that would get so mad, they get out of the car and light your car on fire or something, or follow you home and murder you or something wild like that, right? And so I think he put it into a good perspective that it really it's a loss of control.
It is.
And if I think about my own life and think about, do I lose control here and there? Do I overdo stuff? All the time. Still all the time, and I overeat, I overexercise, just I one of the first million years ago, a DVD that we put out for powerlifting was called Never Enough, because nothing's ever enough,
Yeah.
Squat 1,080 times squat 1,100,
Keep going up.
And sometimes I think people think that that's healthy, and that having those, setting those new goals is a healthy thing, and it certainly can be.
Yeah.
But you can just you can paint yourself into a corner where maybe you're really compromising and giving up a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And that's the exact same as an addiction.
Yeah.
Is it impacting your life in some negative ways? Well, you got to re-examine it. They kind of have a checklist, right? Have you ever been late for work because of the thing that you are attached to or addicted to? Has it ruined relationships or compromised relationships? So it's you start to think about that. You're like, yep. You're like, okay.
Been there.
Yeah. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, and sometimes the challenge is just a little more external than others, or you're more visible than others, I guess. But at the gym I train at back home, I'm so thankful and honored to have such an incredible facility, an incredible family around me. And
what's that gym called?
It's called Monsters Bent Barbell, and it's in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and it's seated on 7th Street, which from that area, we all know 7th Street as being this place where there's all kinds of addicts, and it's such an unfortunate situation. People are trapped in a lot of bad situations, but our whole gym there, we're seated right in the middle of that area, and everybody in there, we're like a big band of misfits, and everybody in there has a reason to not be doing what they're doing, but we're all in there every single day, and we become this powerful family. There's so many people who are in recovery, so many people who have overcome significant physical challenge. And we've got people, I mean, we got a 198 guy that's about to hit an 800-pound deadlift.
Damn.
And he's, we got 2 guys that are doing pro meets now, Drake Stevens and Tim Kashrick. And like Tim, he's a cop in the area. So we're all just normal dudes that come out, and there's all kinds of guys there that they can go crazy heavy. We have a good time, we build each other up, and we grow better, grow stronger together. And it doesn't matter, like we have a goals board on there, and like the goals are also different. Some people are doing there's some girls doing bikini, some guys going for heavy powerlifting numbers. I got 26.2 wrote up there.
Oh, nice.
And it's cool. No matter what you're trying to do, everybody's in there about becoming better.
With being around other people that are like amputees and stuff like that, is it drug abuse and alcohol and stuff like that like more common than people maybe realize?
I think so. I will say I've not personally seen that a lot. I think it can be more common. I think the thing I see the most is this kind of beaten down mentality almost, in that not so much they're playing the victim, but a lot of people end up believing what they're told about themselves, and that you may not be able to do this, you can't do this, you shouldn't be able to do this. And so that's one of my big goals. I'm fortunate to serve for a nonprofit amputee group down home, and that's one of my big things is come out and show people like, hey, this is in fact possible. You don't got to go out and run a marathon, but if you want to go out and do a 5K and you dream of that,
we'll move into a different exercise.
Okay, perfect.
Hit it good on that.
Yeah. Like you can chase that, and you can build yourself up to that. You can overcome that.
I'm gonna use these kind of different kind of dumbbells we got over here. Pretty nice. These Havoc dumbbells.
Yeah. This thing was incredible, by the way.
Oh,
I need to get me one of these.
Lifesaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's awesome. Excuse me. So these guys.
Oh, I've never used these before.
Yeah, these things are so sweet.
Yeah, we do like to play around with fat grips a lot.
So you just like the way I like to use these for lateral raise. So I put my hand in here, and it's up against that side there, and you just kind of go here.
Yeah.
But I'll give you another one too, so your hand will go there. I think this is a 15 as well. That's a 10. That's a 15. Okay. So, yeah, I think something like, I forget. Okay. I'll put it down and let you figure it out. One on the outside. Yeah, there you go.
And so just doing like a lateral fly raise.
Yeah. Nice. There you go.
This is something I never ever used to do. For no reason other than I never did accessories.
Yeah.
I just started doing it like 2 years ago, but it's made such a massive difference in like every lift almost, even like deadlift and squat. Just having stronger, more capable shoulders.
Yeah.
But especially in bench.
Yeah, it's kind of like a powerlifting thing. You're like,
Yeah. You get done with your big lift, and you're like, is that other stuff really that important?
Yeah. Especially when you're handling hundreds of pounds. I know those other movements, and now you got 15s.
Yeah. Well,
you can do a drop and go to the 10s.
Absolutely. Oh man, I love drop sets. We'll do like 100 rep drop sets sometimes.
Oh Jesus.
I love doing that kind of stuff because, to me, this has all been so much more about, what's up, man?
Mental.
About the mind, fixing my mind, and that's why I do like to go so heavy so much. There's something about just overcoming that heavy barrier.
Hey Graham, can you come take a look at this guy's foot? This foot is. We're gonna have to get him like special toe spreaders, I think.
Yeah, there's I keep trying to get my fingers in between the toes there.
It's like really,
and it's just not like working great.
Everything's like calcified or something.
Yeah.
Well, see, the problem is you're looking at the shin. You're missing the toes are down here.
There you go.
But it's like I can't get that ankle mobility built up, no matter how hard I try.
Wrap a band.
If you bend it enough, it just like seems to break sometimes.
You tried wearing toe socks? I don't see why that.
It's just like sitting on there, like just hanging off the edge.
I actually have a toe sock on this left side. I've been getting huge into that, and
has that been helpful to try to get the foot to spread on the other side?
Helpful, especially with the healing on this side. But
this is Graham, by the way.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, sir.
We can sit here and talk about problems. We're gonna look at solutions. I'm a solutions guy.
I love it. I love it. No, I've been watching a lot of your stuff.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
get this foot healed up. I got a Jones fracture.
Oh,
it's the that's what I've learned through personal experience.
How often do you wear the boot? Like how much do you?
So I was totally non-weight bearing for 8 weeks, which functioning solely on a prosthetic leg was a pretty interesting learning experience. We got through it.
He lost the other leg from running because he was 300 pounds when he started, and then he fractured this one because he's still 270. So. I'm kidding.
It just snaps off sometimes.
He had cancer. He had bone cancer on that leg. He had to have amputated.
But no, it wasn't a stress fracture or anything. I was running up a hill, doing some hill work, and
not your best weight loss option, but it works.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that's what you're
Let's.
Well, I'm training to run a marathon right now, and I was doing hill work for a race in Nashville, and I hit a stick. It was just the stupidest thing, just like all injuries are. I hit a stick wrong, and just physics took over and rolled my ankle from under me, and the ankle rolled past 90 degrees, and I don't know if it's from all the years of lifting or what, my ankle was totally fine, but I landed right on that 5th metatarsal and just snapped it right at the back. So it was an acute injury.
Really safe, 5th metatarsal. Kiss of death.
Yeah. Well, I'm not kidding you. I seriously had this thought when I was like 2 months into non-weight bearing. I was like, maybe it would be quicker if I just got my other leg cut off. And then I could be running again in like a couple months. But I was like, probably not.
Well, a lot of times, like if you get like a bad sprain or something, you're like, man, you'd have been better off really having a nice break.
Oh yeah.
You're like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I was so thankful the ankle was okay. But so I just started walking again a few weeks ago. This past week has been my first week without the boot. And yesterday I did 3.6 miles on a walk, which I was super thankful for that. My foot felt great this morning.
Yeah, we got a mile this morning.
Yeah, my calf and shin were blasted though, just because I haven't used them. But I only wear the boot now when I'm in the gym training, especially when I'm squatting and deadlifting, just to give me a little more support so I don't re-injure it. But I've been in shoes the rest of the time. I should be able to start running again on July 10th. So I might start back to it a little sooner than that, but because I would never tell somebody to not listen to the doctor, but I've had too many doctors put too many limitations on me that did not appear to be true. Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, I've been watching a lot of your videos about like mobility in the foot and strengthening the foot. I've been doing a lot of toe spreading while it's been broken to try to, because to me, and I kind of wish I hadn't listened and done weight bearing as long as I did. To me, when you don't put any load on the foot, it will allow the foot to act fine and weak. And if you keep your foot strong, though, to me, a lot of that muscle and fibrous tissue should be able to hold that foot together, hold that bone together, allow it to fuse back together
If you're intelligent, like the
properly.
Trading one for the other, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do, you know, non-weight bearing may give, which is you may all get stimulus with the bone.
Yeah, exactly.
Be interesting too, like when your leg gets better, maybe some like light kicks on a heavy bag would increase bone density, you know?
Yeah, potentially.
Obviously after you're plenty healed up.
Yeah, once I'm healed. Yeah, that's what I've always kind of thought. And then it was weird to me, like I did 8 weeks non-weight bearing, and the doctor then said, okay, full weight bearing boot, no restrictions. And to me it said, that's not how the body works. You can't just like, it's not like all of a sudden last night
just
it's
boom.
Healed.
Oh, it's mended together.
Yeah, I thought, why have I not been easing into this the whole time? So
Let me
since
grab,
then, my
grab a hold of this.
My game plan.
It's no resolution care.
Yeah, yeah.
You go from 360, what was that? 360 feet, is that, and then there's like 1080, there's 720.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
These big jumps of like, you know, you're going to go from nothing to like, okay. It's like, well, let's think about working our way into that.
He has a hard time with working hard and being persistent. So that's why
I just
we're
can't
trying to work on his
I
crappy
can't-
mindset.
I can't stay motivated at all. It's a big issue.
Tell him about your impossible.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
I lost my leg 10 years ago to childhood cancer. I was 18 at the time. Okay. Yeah, so I'm 28 now, and I know I look a lot older. I get that all the time from people. But 28 now, and
so 28 is 28, 30. That's pretty reasonable for an age. You know, we're not old.
Yeah. We're still young guys
young.
at heart.
Okay, thank you. Carry on.
But so my message during that time, because I don't know how this came to me. I never did like any intense study, reading, no meditation. I was just like a fat band kid back then, and I realized pretty early on to that diagnosis that people are watching me, and they're going to be watching me no matter how I play this out. And I could do what everybody expects. I could kind of shut down, bunker down, hide away for a year, and maybe it'll go away. Or I could use this as a positive, impactful experience on people. And so I decided I needed some mantra, some saying to go by. And what came to me was, because this always felt like an impossible situation, just like, not only how do I overcome this, but like, how is this even happening? Like, I was a senior in high school, getting ready to go to college. I just got my college acceptance letter 2 weeks before I was diagnosed. And it just came to me, I thought, well, if I'm gonna do the impossible, I'm gonna have to be impossible. So that's become my whole main saying is be impossible. That's what these shirts are for. And basically it just means when you're faced with an impossible challenge, you become impossible. You build yourself up to a better, stronger version of yourself who's capable of doing that impossible.
Initially was some things harder, just because like the impact on like your family.
Yeah, and
I gotta imagine, sharing that information with your mom and dad, and close relatives, like just had to be brutal.
It was tough. I'm very fortunate to have a very strong family, and I had a great, amazing support group and a wonderful community. I'm from a small, like, farming town, and when I drove up for my amputation, actually, and I didn't know anything about this. I was riding in the van. We were driving up to Columbus to get my leg amputated the next day.
Jesus.
This was 2 weeks after graduation, and I was actually doing okay because I tell people getting my leg cut off was the best part of 2013 for me. Like, the chemotherapy was so bad that I was so happy to get my leg amputated just so I could be off of it for 3 weeks. But when we were driving up, there's a big highway called Route 7. It leads to 33, which takes you up into Columbus. And Route 7 is a 4-lane highway, and on both sides of it, for what seemed like miles, my whole community, and this is not a big community at all, there were people with signs, with banners, and they were cheering me on and stuff, and I'll never forget that as long as I live. Like, they came out and they showed me support when I needed it most. And so much of that year was all about me, giving back to them to help show and inspire them.
That must
Everything
have felt
I could
incredible.
through that journey.
It must have felt incredible to see all those people.
I can't talk about it without getting like emotional. Because
do you know who set that up? You ever find out? Like,
I never found out. I don't know if my family had something to do with it.
This?
Like, I don't know.
But
it was just like I saw one person at first, and they had a sign, and it said like, "Team Matt, be impossible." And then I saw another and another and another.
A lot of people know, like, I mean, you said it's a small town. A lot of people like know you from like lifting and stuff, and they know your family and things like that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in the area now. It's because it's not that big, but back then, I had the whole support of my whole high school. We call it the Mid Ohio Valley.
You played football and all that stuff.
I played football and baseball when I was a really young kid, and by the time I got to high school, I was never driven as a human or as a kid. That's why I say it was. We talked about having something to fight against. Cancer became like a crucible that changed me a lot because I was never very driven. I was never very motivated. I was always just happy, kind of doing whatever. I was successful academically, but it's not because I worked for it. I just happened to have a good inclination toward it. And it was really through cancer that it's like you talked about the people in Iceland. You face and live through intense challenge on a day-to-day basis, and you either like break under the pressure or you become a diamond, like you get rock solid and you become driven and motivated. And I had a lot of problems from all of that with all the demons I fought in my head. I experienced a lot of horrible hallucinations when I was in that coma. And it's stuff that like still to this day even haunts me a little bit, but that's what I was escaping.
They say that
when I was drinking.
They say that pressure. It's from Billie Jean King, a former tennis player. She used to say that pressure is a privilege.
Yeah, I like that.
You know,
I like that.
Think about all the different sports that there are. You put it into those scenarios. You think about like even something like a lift in particular. Someone that's able to get under the pressure of 3 plates, like that's a privilege. You had to earn it.
Yeah.
You had to go way out of your way. And then you think about like jiu-jitsu, like the honor of being able to roll and get completely schooled by someone that's like a black belt or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you are getting demoralized, but it is a privilege to be able to advance to those levels where you can learn how to handle some of that pressure.
Yeah, and it's just the process of overcoming that. And that's my message with Be Impossible is, no matter where you are in life, like even back when I was back addicted to alcohol, I had potential to become more. And even today, when, I'm probably the proudest of myself I've ever been, I still feel that potential to become more. But now it's not this feeling of like, I've got to get to a certain point. It's this feeling of, Kenny and I were talking about it, like I've totally fallen in love with the day-to-day process of it. And so it's this feeling of, what am I going to do today to be more, to be better, to be stronger?
Isn't it cool having people, like so many people with different perspectives? Like you said, you're proud of yourself. Like that's such an underrated thing.
What it is.
It's a really underrated thing. And you think about when people are posting on social media, that's all it is.
Yeah.
People are just proud of themselves. Hey, I'm on this diet. Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm doing that.
And I love that stuff.
Like, be proud with me.
Yeah, I think we need more of that. I used this term a couple months ago called, it sounds weird to hear it, but I called it like toxic humility. And I think you see it a lot in guys. Like, you never want to be arrogant or cocky. But I think you see it a lot in guys where, like, there's the dudes I train with, there's some of them that are just so strong and have not been lifting that long. And it's like, you can go up
do
to
them quickly.
Yeah. And I have this natural tendency as well where it's like, somebody comes up to you and says, hey man, you're doing a really great job, like good work.
Trying to be like you, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we all say. We say like trying to be like you, or it's no big deal, no big deal at all. I'm just out here,
like
whatever. And it's like
because of steroids or whatever.
Yeah.
Blame it on something else.
I've just always felt that the words we tell ourselves are so important. The words we think, the words we say. And I think it's okay. I think it's actually good to be proud of yourself, to recognize what you have overcome, because, I used to never think there was anything special about me or my story. And to a point, I still kind of feel that way. It's just my perspective has changed. I used to think there was nothing special about me because my story didn't matter. And now I feel like there's nothing special about me because everybody's special and everybody has a story that matters. And that's what we're doing with our podcast now, is we're bringing people on to highlight these stories of people who have faced and are facing the impossible and how they overcome it and what we can learn from that. And what's crazy is you get people on there, I'm sure you know this, like you get people on there, you start talking to them, and you realize so many people have so many stories that are so far beyond anything you could have ever imagined.
Oh yeah.
And they don't always see value in it. So I think that humility piece can almost be a little bit like toxic to a point.
Yeah.
But obviously can be taken too far, like all things. All right.
We do
What's next?
Do some front raises.
Perfect.
So,
with the normal dumbbells?
Yeah, or you can still use those guys.
Yeah, I'm good with
What's
this.
up, man? How you doing? Great to have you here today. Mark. Great to meet you.
I'm Matt. Nice to meet you, sir. Yeah. What's your name, sorry?
Man, you got some strength coming from the bottom up, huh?
Oh, well.
I like how stable you are.
Yeah, it's a solid foundation down here. It's pretty hard to break.
You have his reformer
many
in here?
times. But
You got your reformer in the backpack? About 5 years. Yeah. He won't, I don't think he's in until later. You can hit him up if you want. I don't know if have you had contact with him before?
Yeah, message him.
Okay. Yeah. As far as I know, I don't think we scheduled anything with him today. So, if there's something that you wanted to do. Jimmy? He's still here?
He's leaving today, but he was coming in December.
That's great. He's been here for like...
6 days, yeah.
Oh, okay. It seems like he's been here for like 2 weeks.
Oh, Jimmy House?
Yeah.
I just listened to that podcast on the way over here.
The big son of a bitch.
Yeah. He's pretty incredible. A lot of stuff he's doing. These are all different weights.
Yeah, these dumbbells are kind of addicting once you get used to them.
I like these things. I'm going to talk to Clayton. Clayton's our gym owner. He's got, we just had him on our podcast. He's pretty...
This company
got an
makes a
insane
lot
story.
of great, this company makes a lot of great products.
Yeah, I'm going to have him get some of these.
Ohio is where my son was born. My son was born in Columbus.
Oh, really?
I lived out there for about 2 years when I went to Westside Barbell.
Yeah, it's Columbus has done a lot for me. That hospital up there, I'm raising money for them. They saved my life multiple times.
They're huge on cancer research, aren't they?
Oh, they are.
Aren't they one of the premier places in the world, I think?
Between the James Hospital and Nationwide Children's, yeah, they're one of the top in the
Oh,
world.
yeah, you've got the place out in D.C., right? Like the Veterans Hospital and
yeah, I can't think of that
Washington,
name. I can't think of the name of that one, but
That's a
yeah, there's
huge
all
one.
kinds of, like there's Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York, and big one in Austin. I can't think. I don't know if it's the University Hospital or what.
Right.
But yeah, cool.
The chemotherapy is kind of like what almost wiped you out the most, huh?
Yeah. So my body reacted. Well, first of all, I had like a regimen that's one of the most difficult regimens we will ever give people, and we don't often realize this, but a lot of times the chemotherapy we give kids is a lot more high intensity than what we would give adults, and it doesn't make sense because you think, well, adults are bigger, they should be able to handle more.
Can you explain why you needed that?
Yeah. So I had a rare pediatric bone cancer in my right ankle, and it's very hard to kill. I was fortunate that we caught it early enough that it hadn't spread anywhere. And so if it's usually localized to one area, which mine was, you can usually cure it with enough chemotherapy and some type of
blast
surgical amputation.
And maybe have the treatment be sort of fast and over with.
Yeah, and so I did 3 months of intensive chemotherapy, did my amputation, and had to hop back on chemo before my amputation had even healed because we couldn't take that long of a break. And we give particularly high doses to kids because they're younger, they're more resilient, their body can take more. So with that type of cancer, Ewing sarcoma, we hit it about as hard as the body will possibly take. And I got to where my immune system would be totally decimated between each round. My hemoglobin would drop. I've had hemoglobins in the 5s before.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't even stand up without passing out. You know, I'd get to where I was septic in the ICU between every single treatment. And that's when
You get like real white and like almost jaundice, like yellow.
Yeah, it's like that feeling of, you know, when you get a really bad flu.
Yeah.
And for like the first few days, you just feel so much worse, so much weaker every single day. Chemotherapy is like that, but it goes on for months and months and months and years. And
Oh my God.
it beat me down to the point where that's when I brought my team in and said, hey, is this worth it anymore? Does it get to the point where chemotherapy becomes more dangerous than it is beneficial? And they said, yeah, it can get to that point, but we don't think you're there yet. So they took the time and really spoke to me a long time and took all my concerns into consideration. They did a great job. But I just had this feeling that something wasn't going to be right about this next dose. And I was almost finished and got dosed right after I had that conversation. And 2 days later, the chemotherapy ate a hole in my colon when I had no immune system. And that caused me to go full sepsis, bloodstream infection, and into shock and multi-system organ failure very quickly. And I wasn't supposed to survive that. I wasn't supposed to be physically or mentally functional ever again. And, you know, not through some special thing in me, but just the power of the human spirit and a good mindset, I was able to regain function, regain mental control, and
You get sick like that, you get a crazy fever, right? And then it can kill your brain cells.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was...
Attack your brain, right?
Yeah, my blood pressure and my medical notes, they said when I got to ER at Children's, I was life flight up there. They said I was 60s over 10s.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which I didn't even know a human could be alive.
Yeah.
But I recently did get my medical records, and that's what they were saying. So
it's a PR, right?
yeah, it was
yeah,
one-time PR. Ever going to attempt a new one? I guess until I do.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I've really come in touch with the past couple of years is just like, I never feel like I'm running out of time, but I feel like my time is so precious and so special and so limited because like I've been there before where it can just end like nothing. And so my goal now is to make use of every second of time I have to spread this message and help change the world as much as I possibly can in the time I do have here.
Do you always have something going on? Like you just started running a couple months ago, and now you broke the only good foot that you got.
Yeah. Well, that's something I've been really focusing on.
Kind of feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, man, it's always,
and I used to get super beat up, super frustrated about it because it was like, it's always been something. As soon as I did my 500-pound deadlift, a little bit later, I tore my whole abdominal wall open, had to get abdominal reconstruction.
Holy shit.
Recover from that, get into running. This winter when I was running, so I started in October, come about November time, my hemoglobin started tanking again. I was having random GI bleeding, my iron bottomed out, and so my hemoglobin was tanking, which is not good for running because you're not getting good oxygen. So I'd get iron infusions, finally got that under control, and I break my foot. But I've learned to just...
That's actually fairly common with running because something to do with the contact.
Okay.
The contact of the ground over and over again.
Really? Like the hemoglobin thing or the brink?
Iron.
Really?
Dropping iron. I've heard that before.
That's interesting because it was right after I started running that it was an issue. And now that I've not been running, my iron's been fine. So I just wonder.
I think it's, I could be way off, but I think it's a reaction to the bones hitting the ground over and over again, even though you're wearing a shoe.
Yeah.
But it's a reaction to that because then the body is trying to make the bones stronger.
Okay.
And
so it'll pull that.
They're trying to increase your bone density.
Yeah.
And then it does something.
Yeah. Well, and it will use the iron to make more hemoglobin whenever you're doing endurance training.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Cool. What do we want to do? Something heavy?
Yeah, I'm gonna do one more.
All right.
One more set of front raises, and then we can do some presses.
I like it.
A little shoulder press.
I like it. Yeah, it's wild. Shoulder press is something I was never able to effectively do till just about a year ago. July of last year, I got a total abdominal reconstruction because when that hole blew in my colon, I'd had my stomach split open 14 inches 5 times. And on my right lower quadrant, I had a big hole cut out where I used to have an ileostomy.
People probably just always think you're like a veteran, huh?
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Right.
I get that all the time, especially when I'm traveling, because I'm that age. And
that's a tough thing too, because you don't want to. Like sometimes in life you just like let people think whatever.
Yeah.
But that one's a tough one because you don't want to.
No, I don't want to let.
You don't want to, like imposter
I never want to
syndrome
claim to be somebody or something
yeah.
I'm not. And I've just gotten used to it at this point. I just say, no, I actually lost my leg to cancer when I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And but I have, the utmost respect and gratitude for the men and women who serve the country. And then usually they're...
Yeah, if I saw you, I'd be like, man, this guy's been through some fucking battles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And I do. Those are the most awkward when people are just like, thank you for your service. And you're like, well, actually, the worst is when you get, and I feel so bad about these, I don't need to, but you'll see like guys who were maybe like Vietnam veterans or something, and they lost their legs. They give you the
head nod or whatever.
Yeah, and they come up to you and say, well, where did you fight? And it's like, I just feel so bad, but it's like, I don't know.
I was in the hospital in Ohio.
Yeah,
that's where I was.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, but I've definitely gotten used to it at this point because it's part of the game.
You were diagnosed at like 17 or something?
I was 17 at diagnosis and then turned 18 shortly after. But like I said, I had a pediatric type of cancer. So even if I were like 25, I would have been treated at the Children's Hospital because they're just more well-equipped. They see it more often. They're more well-equipped to deal with that kind of cancer.
Looking at that deficiency, it says hemolysis.
Hemolysis?
Yeah.
Oh, like the pressure on your foot breaks down the hemoglobin?
At some point, the foot strike is
wow.
Seen in, not seen in circulars, so it's a little like
That's wild. I would never have guessed that. But I guess, but I feel like I should have half as much hemolysis.
That's why going for a run is good for guys that use performance enhancing drugs, because
break
that's a
your
good
blood
thing.
cells down a little bit. Yeah.
That's a good thing to bring those blood cells down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Go for a run.
Yeah.
You're like, nope.
Leaking GI tract.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what they were afraid of with all the colon surgeries and taken apart and put back together that I've had done, that it was something with that. But yeah, it's a wild time.
Mark's a little knowledge bucket.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. On occasion, there's something I learned.
A lot of times I'm like, I'll make a statement, but my statement has a question mark at the end because I can't fully remember, and I'm like, did I get that totally backwards? Usually it's not that bad, but sometimes I'm off. But I do hear weird stuff because I got friends that they got a lot of interesting knowledge. Like I had one friend who was throwing up, like he'd throw up a couple times a day, and then 6 times a day, 8 times a day. And then it was uncontrollable. He'd throw up like 40 times a day. He went to all these different doctors, went to all these different people. And I finally talked to one of my friends, and this is Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. She says, she goes, was this guy in the military? I said, yep. She's like, call your friend up, tell him he's got worms.
Really?
I was like, I don't want to tell him that. I don't know anything. She's like, well, just tell him he has a parasite and to call me and so on. And so anyway, he had to do like the weirdest stuff, you know.
Yeah.
They had to check his stool a bunch, and they had to check a bunch of other things.
And then you take there's some pretty nasty drugs you take for that. Can
Yeah.
mess up your GI tract, like a bendazole and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hey, to poop in a jar and all that kind of stuff. It's like wild, weird stuff. And when you hear that stuff, sometimes you're like,
yeah.
You're like, nah, that can't be.
Oh,
that can't be it. But
it's crazy.
When you get real sick, you'll
absolutely
do anything to get better.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna just grab a weight and do like a warm-up set.
Yeah.
I like to be like about on this angle because the steeper, I don't know, kind of bugs me a little bit.
Yeah, just doing some like overhead press.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's interesting talking about that core stuff. So, like when I had my stomach split open, I like had almost no core control for a long time. When I got that reconstruction done, I got to do a clinical trial where I got 8 weeks of intensive abdominal physical therapy.
Oh, damn.
And it was that same thing where they taught me to use stuff I'd never known before. And just by like learning to properly activate the transverse abdominis and build from that into the obliques and then the rector, and then getting that like groin muscle activated.
Did they
or
do
the pelvic
stuff?
floor.
Did they? Yeah, that is super interesting how that's all so connected. Your groin is connected to like your breathing and everything.
Yeah, it changed the game for me in like every lift.
Did they do manual? Like, did they get in there on you a little bit?
Oh yeah,
fingers and stuff.
Yeah, because they'd teach me like
they'd
get in deep, or like he'd reach like underneath my balls and stuff.
Yeah.
But like they'd feel like, are you activating it correctly? And it was cool
It's
because
crazy though, because they could be touching you like that, and you're like,
yeah,
and then it'll show you like on your arm, like this is how hard I'm pressing.
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
Why do I feel like I'm gonna die?
It's unbelievable. So that was so cool. That's been foundational in like even in like running, transitioning to that, just having some passive tone and contraction and control over time.
Well, you think about how many times we bear down on that.
Yeah.
You know, with the movements that we do.
Yeah.
All the sitting you did for years in school and all those different things.
Yeah, and I'd actually learned, because I had a big hole in my abdomen, I'd learned to compensate and do all of my core control for my back. And so it was like when I was squatting, you know how you have the little butt pop, I was like doing that too far, like I was out like this. And he taught me how to kind of shift that pelvic floor back down a little bit.
And when you learn some of that stuff, you're like, no wonder why my back's been so tight for so long.
Oh, it was life-changing.
No wonder why so many people get hurt.
It was life-changing. Yes, sir.
if you want, I can help you kind of hoist them up a little bit if you want to go heavy. I'm not sure what kind of weight you want to try to handle.
Yeah, I'll just keep working up.
Yeah.
That's what's been cool about marathon training is, you know, I hit my leg days pretty specific, but outside of that, I always give myself a couple days in the gym to just literally do whatever, just whatever I like to do.
It's such a hard thing to share with people sometimes. Like it's really rare for me to follow much of a program. And then good luck trying to share that with people. It's hard to make sense of it sometimes.
That's what I was talking about with
Let's
Kenny.
go by how I feel, you know?
Yeah. That's what I was telling Kenny is like, I've never like ever done like the programming thing. It's because to me, it was always about fixing my mind. So it's like, what do I need to do today?
I think it's kind of rare for like a bodybuilder, except for maybe like really young bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some like bodybuilders, like a teenager or something, they might log everything and they might, you know, progressively add 5 pounds to certain lifts. But
Yeah.
I think the big guys in the game, I don't think I think they just go train.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, what are you training today? Like legs.
Yeah.
And then they just
go. And that's
and 1 week they might start with leg press, another week they might start with lunges.
Yeah.
It's just like whatever's kind of in their head.
Yeah. That's why I still like all these years later, I'm like push pull legs.
Yeah.
Like that's that's kind of my rotation. And then inside of there, it's
You know, I think you can find a nice happy medium too between, you know, Arnold, who used to preach kind of the longer workouts, and like a Mike Menser or Dorian Yates who would preach a shorter. You could actually utilize both of those things. I sometimes like a longer workout.
Yeah.
And other times I like to just dive right in and try to smash myself.
For sure. And that happens to me naturally a lot, just in that
Timing and stuff.
Yeah. Like, do I have 10 minutes to train or do I have 3 hours to train?
Right.
I have been getting myself, though, because I can't yet go out and run for 6 hours,
Right.
which is what I'm building up to for the marathon. But I can go in the gym and train get myself training for like 5 to 6 hours. And it'll be low and slow training.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I can just build my work capacity up to where I can lift for 5 or 6 hours, that'll translate over.
Something I found really beneficial is to, you know, just set like a watch or some sort of timer.
Yeah.
And have your warm up and your cool down be like walking and or walk jogs and stuff like that. And then that way, you're like, all right, I got out there for 3 hours today.
Yeah.
I got out there for 4 hours today. It's not so much about you doing anything fast or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what my friend does.
You're going to be out there for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what my friend does. I was telling you about this doing the marathon with me. He'll always walk his first half mile and he'll always walk his last mile. And in that way, he's like, I get an extra mile and a half every single day. I just thought that was a cool thought process. There you go. There we go. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that's the stuff I love right there. The owner of the gym we've been working with me a lot on my bench and just my pressing in general and just locking in everything really tight. And I could see how tight like your shoulders and your lats get engaged on that. That's something I've always struggled with a lot. Because even though, like, believe it or not, even with the one-legged deal, my toughest lift has always been bench.
Oh, yeah.
And any sort of pressing movement. I think for the longest time it was because my core was so weak I couldn't really engage it very well. But it's been awesome just kind of going back to beginning and learning all that from start.
There we go. Nice, there you go. Yep. Good. Let's get 5 more. Here we go. 1. Yep. 2. Yep. 3. Yep. Here we go. 4. Yep. Last one. Yes, sir. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Great. That's like the set you were looking for right there.
Yeah.
That's
what
it's
I
like
love.
we did the whole workout.
Yeah.
And that's that set that kind of hits that spot, right?
That's what I love. That stuff right there. Because it's just that.
It's nice too, like when someone tells you like 3 more reps or 5 more reps, and you're thinking like, that you might park it a little earlier than what they said.
Yeah, like you said 5, I was like, oh God.
Yeah. So you got to throw the challenge out there sometimes, you know?
Oh,
Kenny and I do that to each other a lot.
Yeah, we got a guy at the gym. His name's Gary. He's like an old school kind of power lifter. He's a big bencher, but he's got just a heart of gold. But we always bench with him on Mondays, and Clayton says, he's like, Gary will get there and he'll whisper sweet nothings to you. And it's like one day I forget what I had, like 255 I think on the bar, and which I'd never thrown just massive reps at that weight, and I was getting ready to go for it. I was getting all fired up. I did my ammonia. I was going for like 3 or 4 reps. And he leans over and he just whispers in my ear. He's like, 8. And then,
you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, it just something about how he says it. It just I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I got 7 clean ones and got a little assist on the 8, but I got to really fight through it. So that's the stuff I love.
Nice to have somebody like that. And then plus the older guy, you're just assuming like he's been around. Yeah. So he knows I'm going to be able to do that.
But he'll still throw like mid to high 300s on bench all the time, and he just got a heart of gold.
I'm gonna do one more set with the 70. I'll do like a little drop set here.
Yeah, I love doing drop sets because that takes me to that place mentally for sure.
Have you ever done what's called a Seth set before?
No.
Seth Feroce, do you know him?
I've heard the name.
He's a former pro bodybuilder.
Yeah.
He's as wide as he is tall. I mean, he's freaking jacked.
Yeah.
But basically what he'll do, it's like proximate, like it doesn't have to be dead on, but for example, I just did the 70s, and then I'll do those for as many reps as I can, and then I have to double the reps but cut the weight in half.
Oh, okay.
And so it gets to be really challenging.
I like that.
It's kind of neat. Most of the time you have to rest to finish out the reps, but it's just you rest 5-6 seconds.
Yeah, that reminds me of that running drill. I don't know if I think I learned it on your podcast, where you sprint 200 meters as fast as you can, and then you take that time and you run as far as you can in that distance. And then on the 3rd round, you take this distance from the 2nd round as fast as you can. And so in a way, it's like forcing you to get max output with each rep.
Right, it's brutal. Yeah, that stuff's brutal.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's go. Come on. Here we go. Yep. There we go. There we go. Yep. Keep fighting. Come on. Keep going. You got it. There you go.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh man, your arms are freaking tight there. How many was that?
That was 10.
Awesome. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. 9, 10. There you go.
Oh, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
10 more to go.
Yeah. There we go. Let's go. 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Come on.
Whoa. 5 more to go.
Yes, sir. That's what I love what you're doing right here too, is I always tell people you can take rest, you can take breaks, do whatever you need. Just keep fighting through it.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard no matter what you do.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
3, 4.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
That was wild.
I love that pause at the end.
Ooh.
That's great.
Yeah, I was really trying to hold it and it just went down.
Yeah.
That was a crazy shoulder workout. Here we go. Last 2 sets here. Let's go. Yep. Yes, sir. Yep, there we go. Good. One more. Nice. Yep. Hell of a job. When you're doing a set like this, you can rest 15, 30 seconds. You don't have to jump into it so fast that you can't do any more reps.
Yeah.
But you do want it to be fairly quick. I kind of treat it like the way that Dante Trudell does his dog crap training, which is 5 deep breaths in between. Sometimes you might need 10. Here we go. Yep. Nice. Yep. Yes, sir. Really trying to let him figure it out on his own, but I had to give him a little boost. Here we go. Here we go. About all those times you counted yourself out before. Yep. And you made it through, right? Here we go. Yes, sir. Yep.
15.
Yep.
15. 9 more.
Wait until your breath comes back. Nice. Yep. Nice work. Good work, good work. It's a long set right here. A lot of work. Here we go. Yep. Good work. 2 more to go.
2 more. 2 more.
Nice. Yep. Drive with those triceps. Yep. That's what I kind of thought when I was done too. I was like, I think I can do an extra rep, and I was sadly mistaken. Nice, you got it. Yep.
I like that. Oh, I'm gonna take that
like,
back to monsters.
Like the IV, right?
Yeah.
Straight to the vein.
Oh man, that feels amazing.
Good job, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey,
Really
thank you for
appreciate it.
having me.
Yeah.
I really can't tell you what this means to me.
Thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's been a dream.
I'm
of
glad
mine
that I
for so
could
long.
be of any
So,
help
yeah.
of any kind to somebody like yourself. It
Well,
still kind of baffles me in
yeah.
some ways.
No, that's what I'm honored to be able to do every day now, is hopefully spread my message now and pass on what
Right.
you helped pass to me. So
Thank you so much. Where
I
can
appreciate
people kind
it.
of follow along with what you've got going on?
I'm on Instagram mostly at impossible.performance. We've got a new podcast called The Impossible, where we explore stories of people who have faced the impossible, become impossible, and done the impossible. And
You're
I'm
doing your
on
marathon in October in Ohio.
October 15th.
And you're raising money.
Yep, we're raising $26,200 for childhood cancer research at Nationwide Children's Hospital. Link is on my bio and on our website at impossibleperformance.com.
Awesome, man. Thanks again.
Hey.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
it
you.
a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is it cool if I keep training a little bit?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate
Yeah.
it. And
Finish off the rest of the body.
awesome. Yeah. Might as well keep going.